We encounter the top of a stone wall that we weren't expecting to find. We opened up another square nearby to see if it continues along, and it does. We're also finding quite a lot of artifacts around here and faunal remains and a lot of nails, which are usually related to a lot of building activity. So it's also conceivable that there's some building here that we just weren't expecting to find. The sand that's around these walls is full of artifacts. Most members of the university community, I think, would be surprised to realize what the university was like 100 years ago, or let alone 150 years ago, or that there was anything here before that. There's really quite little known about what was here before that, other than forest. We were interested, if possible, in a site that was along the former course of Tattle Creek, because it seemed at least possible that one could find either interesting archaeological remains along Tattle Creek, or at least you would get interesting geomorphological features that would help to train students in the identification of different kinds of soils and sediments that you might find in a creekside setting. We've been doing the field work on the west side of Queen's Park, right near the Parliament buildings actually, but on the other side of the street, and just north of the Canadiana building. And it's an undergraduate course in archaeological field methods, so most of the people involved are generally students who don't have any previous fieldwork experience. The course is called Archaeological Field Methods. It's run by the Department of Anthropology at the University of Toronto, although it also receives some support from the Archaeology Centre at the University of Toronto. The site where we're excavating is right next to a Victorian period monument that was inaugurated on July 1st, Canada Day, 1870, to commemorate the fallen members of the Queen's Own Rifles who had fought at the Battle of Ridgeway or the Battle of Lime Ridge in June of 1866. That was a battle against some Fenian invaders. The Fenians were the Irish nationalists from the United States, most of them Civil War veterans, who attempted to invade Canada in a few places, fairly small invasions, but nonetheless important ones. It's actually the first time in Canadian history that a force that was made up entirely of Canadians and led by Canadian officers went into battle. 9 of the Queen's Own Rifles were killed, 3 of whom were University of Toronto students, and that's why the monument is on the UofT campus. So it's kind of interesting that some of the artifacts we find might actually be related to the very day that monument was inaugurated. We're lucky that we did find quite a few 19th century artifacts. An 1899 U.S. dime, and in 1862, I think it was, U.S. cent. We have quite a few 19th century clay smoking pipe fragments. It's possible that some of these things are related to the inauguration of the monument in 1870 that would have involved troops and probably police and former members of the Queen's Own Rifles as well. So it's conceivable there was some entertainment at that. It was also on Canada Day, so one can also envisage, fireworks and that sort of thing later on in the day. So it's quite possible some of this could be related to that kind of entertainment. Or it's possible that there was some kind of building there that we weren't expecting, and we did actually find a stone wall foundation. The wall so far is a bit of an enigma, so we'll have to potentially investigate further to find out for sure what that wall is. So far I haven't been able to find any archival evidence to show any previous building at that location, but it's conceivable that there could have been something there earlier in the 19th century that simply hasn't been mapped. The property, and in fact most of the University of Toronto St. George campus in the early 19th century belonged to a judge named William D. Powell, whose house was down near where Princess Margaret Hospital now is. So it's conceivable it could be an outbuilding related to his property of some kind, but we so far don't know. I think the fieldwork on campus is important to the broader audience at the university by showing in a very tangible way what the history of the university is like. So I think the excavations that we've been doing have the potential for fleshing out that story and giving people a better idea of what the history of the university is like.